Thank you, healthcare workers.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, first responders.
Thank you, essential workers.
Thank you from CannaSense Total Wellness. Medical cannabis is now legal by telemedicine. Get the medicine you need by getting reviewed for a medical cannabis card. Contactless appointments available at cannasense.com. For as low as $39, you can get reviewed for a medical cannabis card. That's cannasense.com for a licensed medical cannabis doctor review. Please take medicine responsibly. CannaSense.com has all the information you need to get connected with a doctor for a $39 medical cannabis appointment. Go to CannaSense.com today for a contactless appointment. That's CannaSense.com. Get the medicine you need by getting reviewed for a medical cannabis card at CannaSense.com. CannaSense is common sense. Paid for by the CannaSense Foundation. Thank you.
This episode brought to you by BRE Promotions. Whether you're just starting out or evolving your brand, BRE Promotions offers you expertly crafted disruptions that'll take you to the next level. BRE Promotions. We make your business shine. Visit us at brepromotions.com to schedule your free consultation.
NoBoBuMe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of NoBoBuMe, standing for Nobody But Me, Bryan Bowden, your host, part of the host of Inside the Goblin Universe, and Ron Murphy and I will be back, but this is my show, and we talk about some other things, sometimes paranormal, sometimes not paranormal, and it's going to be a great show. It's been a while. We've had a couple of guests, but we've been doing the lockdown thing, so sometimes it's just a little bit too much to get going. Other than that, everything seems to be pretty good. I hope you and yours are doing well. But that said, I don't know if I'm muted anymore, but I think I'm not. We'll go for, we're going to start the show. And I thought, well, I've been trying to get this guest on for a while. He is busy, and he also had other things he had to take care of personal-wise. So I'm not going to, give him any problems or grief. But I know that my partner in crime, when we go to investigate, even though he's retired now, so I'm out there solo, all by myself. My buddy, I'm bringing him on as a special co-host because our guest, Al, and I, we just keep talking back and forth, and I'm tired of playing like telephone, like typing one person and get a response to tape back to somebody else. So without a further ado, we are going to bring in the man himself from Berkshire Mountain Sasquatch, Chris Reinhardt. Welcome to the program. How are you tonight?
Doing very good, Brian. How are you and Al doing tonight?
I'm good. Al?
I'm good. Nice to see you, Chris.
Both.
Yeah, nice to meet everybody finally.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great show. Something Al and I were talking prior to this because when this show is airing, we spend most of our day, and I'm sure you did too, Chris, shoveling out stuff. A lot of snow and movements, and I know my back is screaming. So I started using CBD oil, which I don't know if you guys are into. I think, Al, you've taken it a couple times, and it really,
for my hands.
Yeah, it worked really, really great. And I think it's a great product. I think you should talk to people. You should talk to the doctors. But I know a company. We have a kind of a relationship. It's called CannaSense, and they are one of the first of its kind to provide medical or medicinal use products to people that sign up for it and subscribe to it. And they got a whole bunch of different products, whether you want to eat things or creams, because they work great. I mean, if you have certain stiff necks and joints, sometimes you don't want to take anything, but if you rub it on, it really does work very well. I do the CBD every once in a blue moon, not all the time. My days with that stuff is long gone. But if you want to, you can go to canasense.com and you could /reference/128 and you'll get to an affiliate's URL. And if you want to take a look, think about joining. There are a lot of benefits, and the best part is they deliver it to your front door. They will ship it to you, and yes, it's legal. So that's they've crossed all the T's and dotted the I's on this one. And since 50 states already have medicinal marijuana usage, it's a no-brainer. It's a good delivery system, and if you buy, you also get paid back anyhow. So again, canasense.com/ref/128. That's an affiliate ID for the NoBoBuMe show, and that's www.canasense.com/ref/128. And go take a look. I mean, again, talk to your physicians about it. Some people, it may not work, or the doctors may not like to use it, but whatever is right for you, it is an alternative, and it's having a great effect on a lot of people. And I think in the coming future, I'm going to try to gift it to Sasquatch. But that being said, Chris is our guest. Chris, I know you. I mean, I found you because I was actually way back when I had an experience when I was a camper in a summer camp near where you live, and in the Berkshires, and this thing was right in my window. And when I was talking to Al, because Al's had a couple of experiences growing up, and even we've had some together, it allowed me to relive this moment and remember it better. And I did some more research in the area, and I just said, what? Let me see if I was crazy or not. And when I looked up at the time of year, when I looked up Bigfoot Berkshires, well, I knew it was going to happen, but it just popped off the map. I mean, there's Bigfoot in that entire area. Matter of fact, the town that my camp is close to, there was the Winstead Wildman, which I know you know about. So it was valid. But how did you get started in this, Chris? Like, was it just Bigfoot, or was this like, a bet, a dare?
Yeah, well, actually, it was YouTube. We gave up cable, and we started streaming. So I've always watched all the shows on growing up. Every time, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, I watched them all. And all of a sudden, I seen YouTube TV. So I'm not a computer guy or anything, so I didn't know much about YouTube at the time. So I punched in Bigfoot. Then all of a sudden, it was just every show after show after show after show after show. And I really didn't know people were out there actually looking for Sasquatch. I really didn't. I didn't think it was a thing. So what I finally decided to do is, I took some notes, watched a couple of different people that I really enjoyed watching, and I started heading out into the woods, and I haven't stopped now for 5 years, ever since I went out the first time.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing because, like I said, I've said it numerous times, I never thought of Bigfoot or Sasquatch being in our area. I always thought Pacific Northwest, and boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, I would. I had a guy that used to go out with me when we first started, and it was funny. He'd wear a mask and he'd wear all black because he didn't want anybody to know that he was out in the woods looking for Bigfoot. And me, I don't really care what people really think. So I did it myself, and we were going out, and we started finding things, and it was just like we found this one tree when our first time out. It was a root ball. I mean, it was like a 5-6 inch diameter tree, and it was stuck in the ground with the root ball hanging out. You can see it actually on my channel, the first video we ever did. Right. And we started finding these structures all over the place, and and we couldn't, okay, it could, the wind tornado could have done that, anything could have done it, but until we started getting the interactions, then he started getting creeped out, then he left, and once the interaction started, I was hooked and I couldn't stop. I just kept on going and going and going and going.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of controversy that comes around with a lot of this. I guess the tree structures, right?
Right.
A good friend of mine out of the UK who does Bisa Britain. He did a program, and he said, how do we know that these structures are, these tree leans and the crosses, like, Al, we see these things a lot. How do we know it's not just rocks and trees? And he proposed that, and I can't speak for the UK, but I can tell you that we've had experiences with a bipedal cryptid, and they happen to have the same type of markings there. I mean, am I crazy, or maybe they don't do that in the UK, or maybe he's just not looking. Do you think those like the root ball being up, is that like a main type of like? What are some of the structures other than the root balls coming up? Well, what do you have there that's not bear, not I don't even know what you have up there. Cat.
Yeah, bobcats. We got the bears. We got.
Yeah.
I don't focus on the big huge things because I think that's mainly wind. I like the snaps with the twists.
Yes.
Deer don't snap over trees and twist them in the middle, especially a green tree. A green sapling that's 3 inches around does not get snapped at 6.5 feet in the air and twisted over by a deer or a human would want. You can't do it. You just can't do it. Green tree sapling, you just can't do it. And I've seen them. I got them on video. I got everything I do is on video. Every wood knock I've seen or heard, everything is on video. I mean, I've received gifts. I've received rocks. I mean, I've been in the same area for 5 years. I've traveled. I've been to Missouri. I've had interactions in Missouri. I've been to Colorado. I had interactions in Colorado. I've had interactions in Massachusetts. And here right now, to tell you the truth, we are on, I'm pretty sure, onto a travel route that goes from one of my areas to another area that we were just let into this year for the first time.
Oh,
but we're
cool.
finding the same track, the same print of the same individual in both places. And there's 10 miles apart. And they were joined together by a creek. So the stuff like that is what we look for. We look for, I don't look for, you don't see those big, the huge huts here.
Right.
I find nests here for the first time this year. I found 2 nests. Never found those before.
Now in the nests, I got to ask because is there an odor? We know that most of my interactions when you get to a Squatch type of situation, there's not one that really smells good. Would you agree, Al? I mean, when you're in Squatch territory, there's a smell that sometimes comes up that is very, very, it can be, really offensive. Do the nests that you have there have an odor to it? I mean, I've seen some of the videos. Did you check for hairs? These different things.
Oh yeah, we go through it. And I actually carry a DNA kit with test tubes and gloves and alcohol rubs and tweezers, and that's always in my bag. Always looking for hairs. And actually this year we have a geneticist that's a friend of the family, which was huge.
Oh my God.
Yeah, huge. And she's a professor, and she has her grad students do our testing for us for part of their for their degree, I guess. And so we're on it now. We're on more hair samples, everything. I actually had a gift, or I don't know, I have a trading post, and I actually had a monkey taken a year ago, and it was brought back the same week. A year later, right by one of those,
That's
the
great.
gifting area. So we clipped off a sample, and that's actually at the geneticist in her freezer right now.
Sweet. I was talking to Al because he's Mr. Retired, so he doesn't get out. But there's some gifting going on that we're monitoring, and I'm coming up with a couple of ways to try to get samples of some hair without being like too crazy. Like one of the ideas I had was as the person's doing the gifting, I said, those sheets, the contact sheets for like roaches or they're sticky, but they're not super sticky like a glue trap for like a mouse. And I said, you kind of put get like a stuffed animal like you did with the monkey, Chris. Put it in on that patch, and when it kind of goes to go grab it, maybe you're gonna get some extra hairs from the creature, which would be great. But our problem was like I was thinking like, who the hell are we gonna send this to, right? I mean, Al.
Yeah, no, we had this big discussion, and I was saying exactly what you have going on with your friend. I was telling Brian just the other day it would be nice if we had somebody we knew, even if they passed it off to their classes and had the kids do it for for the course, training for the course. At least we could get it done, But when you just said that, it just blew me off my chair because I was just talking about it just the other day to him about that.
A lot of that stuff's been happening to a lot of people. The same wavelength, same conversations are coming out with other people. I just had that happen to me today. It's a lot lately. It's
pretty intense when that stuff happens, when you're like, oh my God, we're on the same wavelength here. We're all doing the same thing. But, I don't know what they would charge, but I would trust them, through you more so than trying to find an independent lab to do this because, frankly, and I think, Al and I have always discussed this, like if we got some major evidence like that, we're fearful of it being, taken. And
right. No, she's 100%. She actually tested when she was a student, Yeti samples from a king.
Really?
Yes. And so she's totally, she's trying to make up different, what do they call the thing that not sequences? What's the word?
Are you talking about like trying to find the
genomes?
Yeah, well, yeah, they got a word for it but different formulas. She says we should have tried this formula. We should have tried to put this in with it to try and extract this part of the DNA out. And they got all these ideas that they're trying. So when the most important thing is you got to keep it cold. Get that sample and freeze it. I carry an ice pack in my bag now because if you ever get a sample, she says to put it right in there and keep it cold. And when you get it home, into the freezer. She goes, leave the woods right away, get it in the freezer. And then when you send it to me, send an ice package. That's very important. Very important.
It's actually good to know. I mean, I don't even know where the heck I would get DNA kits,
I made my own.
Well, I'm not, I'd have to go to medical supply and try to find some plastic test tubes. And
I get it right on Amazon for like $6. You get 100 of them.
Oh, great.
And then you throw them in a dishwasher, hot water, alcohol them, wrap them. And then I buy little containers. I don't know if I have any here.
But
the little plastic survival snap-on things.
Right.
So then you put all your test tubes in there, the alcohol rubs, the tweezers. I even got a fingerprint because I use stainless steel at the gifting area.
Right.
So if they ever grab a bowl, I'm going to try dusting for the prints this year.
Nice.
So I got all that geared up for this year.
That's a great idea. I'm going to go talk to I have a third party because Al's he'll talk about certain things here, but he's not been going out. But we still, we talk almost every day about this because we have to, I have to bounce it off of people's, the ideas and stuff. And we were thinking like, where the hell are we going to get, if we get DNA, where the hell are we going to, get it sequenced without it getting taken? And we have to start thinking about like outside the box. But 100 test tubes like that for, on Amazon, for the ones that we're not using now, we could just totally do Jello shots at that point.
Hey, Chris, I got a question for you. Good. When you started watching the YouTube videos and who did you actually follow? Who did you think were worth watching and following?
That's a tough question for me. I don't really want to talk about.
Okay.
I don't talk to them. I don't talk to them anymore. So,
okay.
No
Understandable.
But can I ask you another question while I got you here? When you found the tree upside down with the root ball, was that just a once off, or did you find multiple ones like that?
Oh, I found them. I found other ones. I found what we're finding is sticks stuck in the ground 6 inches. Sticks that you can't put in the ground by itself. If it fell from a tree, there's no way a 1 inch diameter stick is going to stick 6 inches in the ground, even if it's total muck. It's not going to happen. And we follow those all the time. And we actually followed one up to a tree we found this spring. It was an X, and it was never there before. It's by an old Indian tree marker. I wish I had the pictures to show you. But it was never there before we found it in the spring. We're coming up early in the morning, and all of a sudden we see the sun coming through, and I turn over to Larry, guy that goes with me. His name's Larry, too. And I said, Larry, the sun is coming up right in the crosshairs. I bet you any amount of money this is magnetic north if I put a compass in the middle of this. Next time we come, I'm bringing a compass. I come the next time, we're checking it all out. We put a compass in the middle of it. Sure as hell, magnetic north.
Wow,
Well,
that's
it's funny
huge.
you say that.
While
'Cause
we're looking at it, we get 2 wood knocks in back of us. I got it's all on tape. It's all on video. It's actually out to watch. And
it's
next time
it's
we go
fun.
up, next time we sorry, Al. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's funny that you brought that up because that was my next question. When did you find out that everything was pointing at a magnetic north?
Yeah.
You know, how'd you come across that? So you just actually answered
It
that.
was crazy. And then the next time we got the 2 wood knocks in back of us, and then the next time we came up there was on the ground.
Oh wow!
So
Straight down.
they pulled it down.
Oh yeah, they watch us up there. They go to my whistle. It's pretty cool. It's pretty unnerving too.
Let me tell you. Well, you know, we've had a couple experience, Al and I, that you sometimes like, okay, are we really doing the right thing here? Because it gets a little bit hairy. But in the case, something that we're talking about, another hairy situation. You mentioned about the monkey that you put out. Something took it, and then something put it back a year later, right?
Yeah, same week.
Same week. So, but I thought there was like something was angry. I remember watching some of the video. And what was going on there? Like it seemed like, did they rip it to shreds or something? Or
Oh no, they ripped the replacement monkey to shreds.
oh,
Yeah.
so you
'Cause
thought
we took the monkey and replaced it with another one.
and so they ripped it to shreds.
Oh, they ripped it right out of the tree, shreds the belly of the monkey out. It was all over the place. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Was not happy. They were not happy.
Now, what was okay? I gotta ask because I'm just trying to figure this out because this is proper gifting, folks. I want to say it right here. This is like kind of proper gifting. The people that are doing gifting, and Al, correct me if I'm wrong, please, or you too, Chris, that go and start playing with food. Bad idea. Really, really bad idea because you're opening a can of worms for a really big entity that if they don't get what they're supposed to get, there could be a lot of problems. And so you got to be careful. So with the gifting, was there a major difference between that monkey and the one that they wanted, or was it, you know?
I think we snuck up. I think we came in on them and they dropped it. I don't think they left it to there. I think they carried it with them because it was right next to the nest, that new nest.
Ooh. Now, do you think it was
the new nest was 30 feet from the trading post? I call it trading post, gift rack, gifting, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was 30 feet from the new nest was 30 feet from the trading post, and the monkey was right there. So I think we came in on them, and they dropped it.
Oh, they heard you coming?
And then we took it. And then we put the other monkey in the tree,
Ooh.
and they were not having it.
That's
But
not cool.
The only bad experience I've had with food is when I was giving them meat. Larry's wife would start seeing them come down to the house
Ooh.
when we weren't up there every 2 weeks. So I stopped with the red meat. I only give them peanut butter and apples. And I bury my gifts under the ground. I dig a hole. I put them in Tupperware containers now with rocks on top of them. Everything padded around. So they have to go and lift up them rocks and get to the Tupperware, snap the lid off. I mean, the lid's always slapped off. Take whatever's in there and go.
That's
They
cool.
take everything with them. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jars of peanut butter, gone. Just gone. They're not anywhere. We've scoured the woods. Gone.
That's kind of cool.
So,
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
How big were the nests? Did you measure the nest out?
no, the nest was it was starting to dry up because it was so hot. But I would say it was probably about 10 feet long by 6 feet wide is my guess. It was perfect. You could see something was in the middle of it. And deer don't break off limbs of pine trees and throw them in. And then we found the same nest up the road 10 miles where we're at now, too, where we're finding the same tracks. So we're thinking it's a trackway. It's got to be. They got to be traveling that creek.
Do you think they're traveling singularly or with like a clan? Because usually some of the most experiences I had, with the exception of the one peeking in my window, when you're out in the woods, you getting in the woods, as you say, it seems that there's more than one usually. You can hear different, tree knocks from different locations. But on yours, I mean, how many Squatch can fit in that one spot? Do you think they could put two physical adults?
Oh yeah, I think there was a family of 3 there, I think. But something weird happened this spring where they weren't traveling like they were the spring before. See, that's the best part about having a trading post, because people think, okay, you're just expend. That's not how we see it. We're using it to collect data. We're using it to know when they're there, what they're taking, where they're going, and how often they're there. So for 5 years now, I've been keeping track of that. I know what months are there. September through the end of November, they are at that spot. They're doing something there because they're always there. Always, always, always there. We get knocks all the time when we're there. We whistle at them. They whistle back. We get gifts from them. Always there. Wintertime, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, maybe. The big guy. 15-inch print. We found his print 4 times. He hasn't come around that much this year. We caught him. We caught him good, and it was a good trick. We dug up, because the substrate here is so hard, you can't get a print unless you got mud. So what we did is we dug up the dirt next to where we leave the peanut butter in the ground. We dug it up, fluffed it all up, raked it all out, and there was like 2 inches like peat moss fluffed up. He stepped right in it. I got pictures of it. We didn't go there for 2 weeks though after, and the rain hit it, but you could still see the print perfect. The big 15-inch print. And I found it in the snow 2 other times. But he didn't do that too much traveling this year. So something happened this year that I don't know. They weren't all there. Something happened.
Do you think what we're experiencing with the lockdown and stuff has confused the hell out of them? And that's why maybe they're not working, or they're not doing what they normally would do?
I figured they'd be on the move more because there's more people in the woods though, actually, now too.
Right.
Everybody's hiking.
But I mean, like, I was thinking about it on a different end. I think these creatures, these entities, are physical creatures here, flesh and blood. And I also, and I don't care if I get crap for it, I also think they're interdimensional, because when you have tracks that walk, and I've seen them. They go in the middle of a huge field. There's no trees to be found for 100 yards around, and all of a sudden tracks disappear. Is it magic? I think the only way they can do it is interdimensionally. And I wasn't an interdimensional guy for a long while. I've had many conversations with the man that's joined us, the co-anchor here, Al, about this. I thought people were crazy. Oh, this Squatch speak, mind speak. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Very polite about it. And then I had my own experience where it went from point A to point B pretty damn quick. And I said, interdimensional, it's got to be. And I can't prove it just yet. So that being said, is part of your equipment when you go out there, do you cast these things, or are you doing like what I'm trying to do? I got this new little phone here, and it has LiDAR on it, and I bought it. My old phone was dying anyhow. It was bad, so I got the newer version of an Apple, and I do it for 3D scanning. That's, I think, the new thing. Do you do any 3D scanning when you're out there?
Well, that's pretty cool. No, every time I get those good prints, I don't have the backpack with the casting stuff in it. Every single time, and it's not a lie. And isn't
that the way it always is?
I found a handprint, which is very, very. I wish I could show you guys the pictures. We're gonna have to get together because I got so much to show you. I found a handprint where it was on a bank, and it had his hands like he was crouched down, like a offensive lineman or a defensive end was ready to go at the quarterback. Right. He was pounced down in his hand, and I didn't have the casting materials in my other bag. So I come back the next day, can't find it. So this year I got this. I got the print of what I believe is the little one, 9.5 inches this year, and perfect in the mud. Beautiful, beautiful. You'll see the picture. I took a picture of it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Didn't have the casting material with me. So instead of marking it with a stick and coming back to it, I came back to it the next day. I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Never again will it happen.
Well, it's funny because Al was the one that I was thinking plaster paros, casting type of stuff really quick. And he was rocketcrete. What's the stuff that you used or we carried? Was it the rocketcrete?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's for chimneys, and it dries like in 5 minutes.
Yeah, like a quick crete.
Yeah.
It's basically it's made for chimney repair.
Yeah, like a mortar.
Yes, but it dries in like 5 minutes flat, and you could pick it up, and it's rock solid, and you could take it away. You don't have to cover it, leave it overnight or whatever. It's good stuff. Yeah, it's really dries quick. And
it's not as heavy as the other. I mean, I used to carry. I have like 5 pounds of plaster.
Yeah, 5 pounds.
And when you for anybody that hasn't been out in the field and doing this stuff, that's valuable 5 pounds. I'd rather have 5 pounds of water than plaster at this point, because it's not only 5 pounds of plaster, it's almost a gallon plus of water that you have to carry. I mean, it's a lot of weight. We went out one time to go back to this a couple of years ago. We went back to this. We were both drawn back to the place where we had our experience, and we all went out, and it must have been like 100 degrees out there. It was so humid. And we stopped, and he wasn't feeling well. He was like, I thought he was going to pass out. I'm like, okay, well, here, take my orange. I gave him some food. He ate a little bit, and he felt better, and then we found this den. But, I was carrying a ton of stuff at that point. I can't keep carrying all this stuff,
Yeah, I think I was being hit with infrasound that day, because we were being drawn right to that location where the den was, and I think they were trying to stop us from finding that den. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never been hit with that, but Larry, the guy that he comes with me now from time to time. He's been hit with it, gets the upset stomach and everything. Every time we're up at the rock, and then we'll get a knock, and he'll say, "Oh, my stomach's not feeling so good. I don't really feel so good." And then all of a sudden, right on the tree, 30 feet away. That's the problem. They're 30, 40, 50 feet away from us, and we can't see them. They're right there. Right there.
It's a great barometer. I mean, Al and I learned the hard way that when you're going on a long investigation, it's always good to have a little Imodium in your system, just in case.
Yeah.
Because I've been in the woods and had to do the dirty, and it also helps to settle your stomach down so you don't have to worry about much. But that's a great barometer. I mean, Larry, how you feeling? I'm feeling great. Oh my God, my stomach hurts. I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Everybody, just start looking.
Yeah.
No,
Chris, just
go ahead.
to circle around to the den again. Were the dens built like igloos? Were they A-framed? Were they teepees? How were they?
It was like a nest on the ground, like a bird nest. There was a bunch of pine trees broken, all piled together, and then like a bowl in the middle that something was just sleeping in.
Oh wow!
And then with pine nuts, all piled up next to it, empty pine nuts. And the same thing up 10 miles up the road, the nest with the pine nuts. So something was just there sitting, munching on pine nuts, sleeping in those nests.
Yeah. Have you ever come across a carcass, like a dead animal, that wouldn't be characterized as a bear attack or a big cat attack? Something unusual?
Just recently out my back door here, had a coyote leg left in the middle of the road.
A coyote leg?
Coyote leg.
Wow.
The whole one. Ripped. Not cut. Ripped. And Maria's like, what is going on? She's going, you got to get back out in the woods because they're starting to leave stuff for you here.
Yeah.
But I can't prove what left it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found a 175-pound buck one time wedged in a arch of a tree, and the tree was shaped like a fire pole, and the arch wasn't up until, like, the V shape of the tree wasn't up until you got to about 60 feet. And everybody I was with were like, was that a bear? Was that a big cat? I said, no, there's no way a mountain lion would drag something that weighs as much as itself that high up. You know what I mean? Maybe 10 feet, but not 60 feet straight up. And this thing was just laid over this tree and just left there for like, I'll get back to it later.
And you would have seen huge claw marks on the tree too.
Yeah, no, there was no marks on the tree.
Right. So if it was a cat, it's definitely using its claws to get up that tree.
Yeah, definitely. No. Even a bear would have used claws, but not a bear's not going to carry a buck up a tree. But
yeah, that's what everybody says about the black bears. They're deadly, but I've never seen one eating any carcass anywhere. I've always seen them eating garbage, I guess. But that's my problem. But I've never seen anything in the woods. No, I've never come across a carcass. Nothing.
I found another one time that was ripped. I was being drawn to like a gully, and I don't know why I was being drawn to this gully. I was being drawn to this gully, and I was filming. I got it on my camera somewhere, and I went down to the gully and I started filming. And there in the gully was a beautiful buck, again, 150-pound buck, laying in the gully, and its stomach was ripped open right down the middle, and all the organs were taken out of it, but no meat and nothing else.
Oh,
yeah,
organs.
And which was really weird is that you would have thought that the coyotes would have came around and eaten with all the meat that was left on the, but the thing was just left there. I mean, undisturbed. It was just very interesting to see how it was ripped open right down the center of the stomach. Yeah,
there's some kind of written rule where there's animals aren't supposed to be where they are. If you're in the woods and it's deathly quiet in your areas, you know they're right there. You don't see a squirrel, you don't hear nothing. You might hear a crow warning, when you're coming in or something, but usually we don't see any deer. We don't see nothing. If we're in the woods and we see a squirrel, they're not there. That's how we go. This is all in my opinion too, and my data collected. This is not written in stone by any way, shape, or form. This is just my findings, and I'm sharing with everybody. So don't think that I know it all, because I sure don't.
I think that's common knowledge. I think anybody who's hunted in their life knows that when the wood goes quiet, there's a predator in the area. You know what I mean? And for guys like us who maybe weren't big time hunters, but we've been spending a lot of time in the woods the last 5-10 years, whatever. You just notice when the woods go deadly silent. You 1 minute the birds are chirping and the squirrels are running around digging nuts and everything else, and then the next thing you know, boom, it's dead silent. And it's eerie, because just a minute ago the woods were alive.
Yeah.
So
I mean, something that happened up where, again, in your neck of your woods, up there, when I had that encounter with what I think it looked like a giant monkey, so I'm saying it's Sasquatch, and it's been proven. A couple of years go by, and one of my best friends there, we had two parts of this camp. There's a road that separated the camp, the bulk of it, from like the parking lot and what we call canteen, where people would hang out at night. And he went behind the canteen once. He came out, he was scared out of his gourd. And he said there's a monster back there with big yellow eyes and fangs and claws. Don't go back there. It's 12 feet tall. And we're like, yeah, whatever. But I mean, I kind of believed him, because there's a look of fear when you have it. And to this day now, when I talk about it, he goes, "Oh, I was making it up." And I know he wasn't making it up, because there's a look. He was terrified. He was, I got to get out of here. He couldn't get away from it faster. Knowing what I know about Bigfoot and Sasquatch, and knowing what I know about, thanks to Al, Dogman, do you have any Dogman type of things that you know of in the area?
Me?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I wouldn't even know where to start with Dogman. I've never seen one, heard one, or found prints of one, so I don't know too much about that. But I don't doubt it. But I think that it's an offspring of the Sasquatch, maybe. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I have no, like I said, I don't know too much about the Dogman thing.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Al was the one that introduced me, and I didn't really want to believe until we started, having these, listen to people and real testimonies, and then we had a couple experiences that were interesting. I just found that most of the time when you have a Sasquatch in the area, there's really good it seems like there are dogmen in most of those areas, and they kind of keep themselves separate and distinct. They don't intermingle. Everybody has like Bigfoot has certain type of signs you see like with the tree bends, and when you see something that takes a big tree and literally pulls it out of the ground, turns it upside down, and hangs it like an umbrella roots. I've never seen a Bigfoot or most Bigfoot squatchy areas do that, but I was just wondering if you had any, because it would correlate perfectly with the Bigfoot Sasquatch, the Sasquatch dogman type of like that roadway separating them. Like, you stay the hell on your side and we'll stay on this side, otherwise we're gonna have a rumble. So I was just wondering about it.
I had one experience I could tell you about. We were at one of my areas, and it was dusk, and we were just up there checking things out. We found a couple of structures that we were just keeping an eye on, and we're walking in, and we're walking down the path, and all of a sudden we heard like a dog whimpering noise, like a wounded dog, like something got hit. We're in a state forest, and like a dog got hit. It's going whoo, 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 whoo. And my buddy turns to me and says, "Sounds like there's a wounded dog over there." So we went and we walked probably, I don't know, 30 feet into the woods. We got to the spot where the whimper was. There's nothing there, but all of a sudden up to our left, 30 feet more into the woods, same noise again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And again, my buddy's like, "Well, we must have scared it, must have ran up there." So then we went back 30 feet more into the woods, and then all of a sudden, off to our right, again, dog whimpering noise 30 feet more up. All of a sudden, my buddy says, "Whatever this is, it's luring us into the woods right now."
Yep.
It was dust. So we turned, like we said, "Let's get to the road and let's get the hell out of here." Because we didn't have a flashlight, we had nothing. We get to the road, and then all of a sudden I hear a whoop. I go, whoop! And then all of a sudden I look up, and all of a sudden, through the foliage, rock comes and lands right in back of me. So was it a Bigfoot? Was it a dog man? It was something. It was something that was luring us into the woods.
Yeah, I got goosebumps when you start talking about it. Yeah, I got.
That's that area got that name. Rock Throw Alley is one of my areas I go to, and that's how it got its name, from that interaction. And my buddy to this day won't go back there.
That's not good.
No. You know me. I go back there.
You get to go back there, but you got to understand and you got to remember where your spots are, like a situation like that. Because when we had we were doing an investigation at a cemetery, and Al was like, he kept hearing things that was very dogman-esque, and I wasn't really focused on. I was focused on more of the ghost side of, like, we're in a cemetery, I'm looking for EVPs. And there was one point where we kind of get these noises that were coming from one direction, and then we find the tree structure. Remember that, Al? The big tree structure?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like I was describing, like, literally take a tree, a 3-foot diameter or bigger tree out of the ground with the roots on it, hang it upside down with other trees, like, umbrellaing it in place. And I kept going and going, and he goes, Bryan, come back. I have a feeling we're being lured to something. And later that night, we kind of went in a similar direction to get back to the car, and, that would have been right. I mean, we were almost lured into a certain area where it would have been bad.
Right,
and if you hear a dog man in the wood howl, Chris, you'll never forget it. It's the creepiest sound you ever heard in your life. It just goes right through you, and it's just not a natural sound. You hear a whoop. It's a whoop is a whoop. You know what I mean? We've heard it from primates forever. Kids going to the zoo with school trips. The monkeys whoop at you. And even the monkey barking. Who hasn't seen a monkey jump up and down barking? But when you hear this howl, it is so unnatural that it just sends shivers down your spine, and when you hear it, you'll know it.
I'm not a big fan of the night stuff, but because I had so many interactions at night, first interactions I had, like close interactions, were at night.
Yeah,
And now
I'm a big fan of the night stuff. I love the night stuff.
Yeah.
I do day night whenever I go out.
Yeah.
But and we've had plenty of interaction during the day as well. But I like the night. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I'll do it. I'm just not a fan of it. But it's got to be done. You got to get the info. You got to get the evidence. You got to get the data. And just for my own personal, I'm not going to get rich off of this. No one's going to get rich off of it and doing any of this stuff. That's what everybody thinks. They're going to have their own TV show, and they're going to just do it because you love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what
you know.
We do it. We do it because we want answers, and it's not.
Yeah, you're proving to yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? It's funny when you're not going to get rich off of it. I'm like, damn straight. I mean, the money I've spent on equipment is just, and it's lower end equipment. It's I'm saving up for something we were talking about tonight. A Gen 3 scope monocle, because we did something recently, and where someone was using it and they got great evidence for something, which I said, this would come in handy when I drag him out to Sasquatchville, because he's retired, but I'm dragging him out. I'm dragging Grandpa out.
Hey, Chris, I got a question for you. How many acres is the Berkshire Mountain Range?
The whole range?
Yeah, the whole range.
Oh, I don't even know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
I got another question for you. My brother used to live in Oxford. Would that be considered the Berkshires as well?
Oxford, Mass?
Oxford, Connecticut.
Oxford. I think that's more down towards the shore, isn't it? I'm not.
I don't know. He lived in he had a log cabin in the middle of the woods.
Well, then it might be up here. I mean,
it
the
may be the
Berkshire's
southern tip or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, it goes all the way up the Appalachian Trail, parts of it. It's huge. It's got, I think
I'll look it up. I just thought you may know off the top of your head.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Whenever I talk about some kind of like ranges, I like to know. I can't see it, Brian. I like to know exactly how big they are.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a quirk I have.
I got the following, and this is really interesting because it's getting scary. I got 2,109 miles squared.
Okay.
That's pretty big area to go. To have something living there.
Right.
I mean,
60. And what most people don't know is 60% of Connecticut is forested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like 45% of that's protected. You come up in my area, there's so much state property up above me is ridiculous. And you can't even get in there anymore ever since 9/11 or 9/11 or with the virus stuff. You can't even get in there anymore.
Speaking of which, and you living in the area, have you ever talked to any of the rangers, park rangers, or environmental guys up there, and kind of alluded to what do you know? Do you know anything about strangeness going on?
I've done a couple, but they kind of like I could tell you where to find a bald eagle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what they'll say. I've tried fishermen. This year, for the first time, I'm going to put an ad in the paper, and I'm going to ask, because people here don't like to talk about it, because they all think that they people will shun them, and oh my God, he saw a Bigfoot. Well, yeah, thousands of people have seen Bigfoot. You know what I mean? It's not like there's been 2 sightings.
Well, I mean, there's history in the area, so I mean, it would just go coincide with the history of the area.
Back from 1895, they've been trying to hide it. They said it was an escaped lunatic from the asylum in Litchfield.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I just read that the other day, and I was looking up the wild man
Winchester wild man.
Yep.
Yeah, and across the United States, and that one just came up. Yeah, that one came up just the other day.
That's on the other. I mean, if I remember Winston correctly, that was on. Was it 44? More towards New York.
That happened right near where Larry's is, right where I go.
Really? So what
right where the sightings were in the 70s, right in that area.
Okay, so because I remember going to a spot and actually where my place, where the camp was, on the other side of the mountain. There seemed to be like some kind of farm thing there, but on the other side, if you go back that way, which we shouldn't have, but we did as kids. it ends out, and there's like a dam and a river.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what they call Lover's Lane over there in the local area.
That's where the 2 sightings were in the 70s.
Yep.
I'll
And
tell you that Larry's is not too far from there.
okay, so that's the area I'm in question. That's where I'm talking about
You
because
know exactly where it is.
right. I'm thinking, what is it? It's the Colebrook. Like, or, is that the name of the town? That's like literally a post office. And if you take 180, it was in 183. I forgot what the road is, but I think that's the route that they took to get the transport. If you were going to go up from here to Pittsfield, let's say, from where you are to Pittsfield, that I think is where the road, and that's where a lot of the stuff has been seen before. So that's good to know, because I know in that area there were people like hanging out like Lovers Lane, and they saw this gigantic ape guy just walking past. Which
that's the one in the 70s there. Yep.
That would scare the hell out of you at that point if you didn't know what the heck that was. It was like,
Oh my
okay,
God,
we
I've
gotta
heard
go.
so many great stories of close encounters with these guys that would just, I don't know if I would have made it, to tell you the honest God truth, without having a heart attack.
I mean, my encounter, seriously, I mean, how thick is a plane of glass? Like, I don't know if you've ever been up to the camp's property, but really thin, planes of glass. And that's how close it was to my feet. It was no more than 6 inches from each other.
Right.
No more. Without even thinking about it, this thing could have just went, grabbed me and pulled my fat ass right out the window, a 10-year-old. Whoop. And it was enough for me to literally lay there frozen as if I didn't see it. And, but now, I want to go back up there. I definitely want to go, hunting, I don't call it hunting, but I want to go researching. Let's call it researching. I'm tired of
let's
like,
call it researching.
I'm so tired of talking like hunting for squatch, hunting kind of, gives the connotation that, it's like you're going to try to bag it and tag it. I don't want to bag and tag anybody. I just want to say, hey, how are you? I want to have like some kind of interaction with it. You go on your way and I'll go on my way, and I'll make sure no one comes up to harm you, that type of thing. So I think I'm going to switch it. Yeah. It's not hunting, it's researching.
Yeah.
It's researching.
Yeah,
Question for you.
For sure.
Question for you, Chris. Do you believe that these creatures see in color? Do you think they could see like different color objects?
The sight thing I've been throwing around for a while. I think, you ever hear the theories about the plant DNA inside of them, like a chlorophyll, and if you put chlorophyll drops in your eyes, they said you could see more at night, better than at night than day.
Yeah.
You ever hear those stories? Like they have these certain eye drops, like the government has them.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I think somewhat of that they can see. I know they can see at night incredibly.
Yeah, I'm not talking about night vision. I think for sure they have night vision. I'm talking about different colors, the oranges and reds and greens and yellows and white and blues and pinks.
I think
Colors
they see black and white.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I don't think they see color.
And that's been the talk, because you have like a dog. A dog is supposedly sees just like black and white and shades of gray for the most part, and that's why, when it's darker, they react better because they're seeing better, and they're seeing this large black mass coming at them. It's kind of freaks them out. But I would think, because I think there's a characteristic between us as human beings and these creatures. I don't know if it's the missing link. I don't know what it is, but I think there's enough. If we ever got like true DNA, like we had a Sasquatch and we did it, I think it'd be like a chimpanzee, where it's like 99.98%, that close. And if we see in color, why wouldn't they? And that was my mentality during the day. Again, I'm not sure, but I know at night, I mean, one of my theories is it takes a lemur, for example, that has a tapir, comes down and it just totally switches to like pitch black. They can see in the dark like it's nothing.
Right. Oh, I was in the middle of the Ozark Mountains. We had one in back of us 60 yards, about 60, 70 yards. And we were watching it on flare, and it was pacing. Didn't know what to do. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We watched him for about 10 minutes. Guy that was there got up, get something out of his bag. No, this is pure dark, black. Got up to get something out of his bag. Boom, gone behind a tree. Instantly behind that tree, and then started peeking. He would poke his head out. He's seen us from 60 yards away. That guy get up and move his bag.
Wow.
I know that's how I could say the evidence the data that we collected and the evidence shows that's unheard of.
Yeah, I mean that's
unheard of.
That's pretty. We've been on a couple of years back. Al and I were on a couple of cases, and as we're walking into I can see out of the corner of my eye, we have someone shadowing us, but in the woods, not making a damn sound. But I can see. Here's the crazy part, right? So they have some big trees in the woods, but then they also had some other trees in the woods, and I can see as it's walking, I catch it because I'm purposely now looking at the corner of my eye and still walking, and I see something moving like a blurb of brown, and then when I kind of look a little bit more, I see what looks like back of a leg being swept behind a tree, but the tree's like this big, wide, but it disappears. That's the coolest thing that I've ever seen. What do you think about that whole the ability to cloaking?
I haven't experienced. I'm a believer. Seeing is believing for me.
Right.
I'm not saying that they don't. I've never seen it, so I think they have a vibration. I think they like an alligator. You ever see an alligator in the water shake when it's attracting its mate?
Really?
I think they can shake their fur. You seen this? Do you ever see the hair samples? Like they're almost translucent. They light up to all different colors. You've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can vibrate them, and I think with the sun hitting them and the vibrating, I think they can camo. That's just my opinion. That's what I. And as the black and white thing, you can see, like I think they know the difference between red, white, and blue because of the tone, the difference in the tone to depth of the color. Like a red is a bright. Well, a black will be a different color. You know what I mean? It'll be red, but it'll be like I think
it's a lighter. It's like the people that don't have they're colorblind.
Right.
I actually remember
know the depth, and the tones, and all that. Something like that.
Yeah, like something. There's a difference. It's so slight because we see in color, but it's like a version of gray that is just a little bit off. And when you see red, it's like a richer gray for the most part.
Yeah, it's a darker gray.
Right, so they have their favorite tones, like the blue. They say they like the blues or the yellows. It's got to have its own tone, so they got to know what a blue looks like. They must enjoy. I don't know. Who knows? You can talk about this for days and days. And days.
Speaking of which, about colors, did you ever use something that was red or orange, and what was the response? If you did,
I've only done the blue.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do blues. I know yellow's pretty big because yellow is usually at night. I'm sure they get reflection off of the cat's eyes in the road, or some roads have that where there's some sightings. Have you ever used a game cameras?
I always use game cameras. And everything makes mistakes. Everything will make a mistake. I mean, you might not get nothing for 10 years,
right?
But that one time it walks across there and boom.
Did they ever mess with them at all, or?
I got some pretty weird stuff with the branches moving and triggering them off and stuff like that, but nothing. I caught this light. I have a video on my on the YouTube. It's called "The Light at the Shredded Tree," and this light travels from tree to limb to limb to limb. Why? There's a deer just circling. It has nothing to do with Bigfoot, I don't think, but it's the craziest thing. And I caught it on a trail camera. I would never caught it if it wasn't for the trail camera.
Well, it's very interesting. You said that where it, and you said it's not much to do with Bigfoot, but there seems to be a correlation with a lot of people that are investigating now, and they're kind of waking up to it, of UFOs or lights and light events and then some kind of encounter. So maybe you actually caught something that was I think they go I think they can cloak and they can dematerialize. That's how you go from point A matter into like an interdimensional. You have to be able to change your physical shape to do that. And I think a lot of the experiences, if you like Jay Bachochin, who does Finding Jay, great movie. There was some light anomalies with that. I think there's a connection to that. We're trying to, well, I'm trying to research it a little bit more and trying to experience it and see if we can put one and one together. But
yeah, check out that video. It's only like 8 minutes long, and somebody found a screenshot from that video of a very disturbing picture that's right next to that light, like a Bigfoot that's screaming.
really,
Look at my hair's. Yeah, they sent me the screenshot.
well, yeah,
I don't know. I see. I got to see it for myself. I mean, as the years go by,
Well, that, yeah,
there's,
go ahead.
there's no words. There's no words.
Chris, let me ask you a question. How about eye shine? Have you seen different color eye shine in the woods? Do you think the females and the males have the same color eye shine, or do you, or vice versa? Like a doe and a buck will have different kind of eye shine. One will shine green, one will shine gold. Do you think it's the same way with the squatches, or do you think they all have the same color eye shine?
See, I've only the nighttime when I seen them without flashlights, because we don't use flashlights. We use the flares. So I couldn't tell you about the eye shine because I've never seen it. But my buddy's seen, buddy of mine has seen them gold, light up gold with silver pupils, like real right next to them. That's what we were starting to do was approach, which that would have taken me a lot longer to start approaching these guys.
Yeah.
But if you want to get the proof, you got to go for it.
Yeah,
and hope for the best.
I think, I was talking to Al, I watched something with Eddie Murphy and some kind of show with Jerry Seinfeld, and he was talking about visiting Michael Jackson's house. Remember, Michael Jackson had Bubbles the chimp, right? So Bubbles went nuts. He went crazy. Michael kept him in a cage, and Eddie kept going to the cage, and Michael's like, "Don't go there, Eddie. Don't go." I mean, if a chimpanzee like Bubbles, little thing that you can carry like a baby, it could literally rip your head off without even thinking about it. It could
Right.
basically take that and multiply it times 8 feet, 12 feet. When you say approach, I'm not going to be the first guy running into the woods going, "Hey, Bigfoot," I think you need to build up a relationship, and it's very, very, it's a tinderbox at every moment, because this thing can, if it wants to take you with it, it's going to take you.
Right.
If it's
I agree
pissed
with you
off,
100%. You got to build some kind of a bond.
yeah,
You got to know that your head's not going to get ripped off, because I've been to New York City, the Bronx Zoo, and seen the gorillas.
Yep.
And the big male silverback there could rip your shoulders off.
Yeah, I mean, it could just totally dismember you. So, and that maybe standing up is maybe 6 feet.
Yeah, he'll scare the hell out of you. He'll come up and slap that glass, and you got to go, "Well, I'll be back. Got to go use the restroom now," because the big silverback just made my stomach turn.
Well,
Huge.
yeah. I mean, we used to go there because we did an event for a charity for kids that have hearing loss and hearing issues. It's a school in the city, and the company that we did, it's a friend of ours their child has hearing. He is a cochlear. And so we give back by doing that. It was at the Bronx Zoo. And so we walked into that, the monkey cave, Wild Africa, right? I think whatever it was.
Congo, or whatever they call it.
And this thing was beating on that glass. And I'm telling you, and you can kind of see the bottom moving out. I'm like, we got to get out of here. One day it's going to happen. It's going to be one of those news reports like,
Yeah.
man was pulled through 2 inches of glass today by the giant silverback. I'm
He
waiting
thinks
for
it's
that
a joke.
moment.
He's all patting his chest, blah, 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 slapping the glass at you, running away from you. Oof.
Yeah, I kind of liked it better when I used to go there and there was bars up. I'm sorry, but I'm a little old school. I want a little bit more of something between us. So we're getting close to the end. I don't want to keep you too long. I don't want the wife to get upset or anybody else, and I know you have other things to do. So what are some of your plans for the future, if you want to go into a little bit of that, and also where can people see these videos and get in touch with you?
Okay, so plans for the future. I am heading to the Green Swamp in Florida in April, the end of April, to go hang out with Chris Connor of the Trail to Bigfoot. I don't know if you're familiar with his channel on YouTube.
Yep.
And we're going to spend a week. We're going to spend a week in the Green Swamp. Then we're coming back here to get here going, and then hopefully we're going to hook up with you guys this year. And then I have a buddy out in Colorado his station's called Rock Hounding with Bigfoot. His name is Dustin Resume. I hope I say his name right. And hopefully get out there to see him this year. I'm all about traveling. I'm all about learning from anybody that I can. And Chris down in Florida is taking the structures that he's finding and actually putting a compass to them and measuring them. And they're actually pointing to things where they're researching. He has a gift area. They just found a teepee structure the other day that's pointing right at it. He does all the compass. He puts it up and down. He measures it all. He's an Army guy.
Right.
So he knows about all that. And the stars. And he's the only one that I've ever seen do it. And it's just, he's coming up with this amazing stuff right now. I think if more people try using this, we might be able to get some travel routes. That's what I'm focused on here this year is travel route and FLIR footage.
Yeah.
We got to camp out at my area this year for the first time, and we had rock throws from 7 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning. Just rock throw after rock throw after rock. I got them on recordings. Those are going to be coming out. I got a new channel coming out. I'm switching everything up. It's going to be called Discover Sasquatch with a podcast. That's coming soon. And people can get a hold of me at berkshirebigfoot@gmail.com. And that's it. Thank you very much for having me on the show. It's great to be able to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
One-on-one or two-on-one for the first time. It was awesome. Look at 2 hours went by with I'm still ready to go.
Oh, I mean, if you want to continue, we can continue. I have no problems with it.
So,
I mean,
the wife has unleashed the grandchild. If you can't hear him yet.
Oh no, it's good, and I understand. But definitely this summer when it gets warmer, I got to bring him up there anyhow because you don't understand when you get into this town. There's a certain pizza and salad. I know I go crazy for it, but it's like a home away from home for me, the Laurel City, and I don't miss some of the things there, but it's great, and we're definitely hook up with you, and maybe we could just have great experiences there. I'll also try to get you into the place that I had my first experience, and see if we can get into that.
I'll bring you guys I'll bring you right to up the road, and hopefully those to come in and throw rocks at us all night.
It's interesting. Something I was going to think about doing. Everybody, the people that do trail cameras, it's great, and I agree with you. Put the cameras up, right? If you never know that one moment, it's like, crap, I got caught on the camera. How can you do that, Bob? Like they're arguing with you. But something else that may be interesting is to put up recording devices, like little digital recorders, and see if what noises you get out of the forest.
Oh, I do that all the time. I put them in birdhouses and hang them in trees.
Oh.
I drop the recorder right in a little birdhouse. It's got a roof on it. Won't get wet. I put the foam on the backhand side so you don't get the back noise. And I hang them in a tree and I leave them there all night. I've got tons of stuff. I got a snap of a log up at my trading post.
Yep.
And they were not happy because I left gifts there. I left the peanut butter and the apples, but I put the recorder on the same rock. They wouldn't come in there. And all of a sudden you hear this big crack, big, huge snap. And they didn't come in and get it. I came in the next day. I grabbed the recorder out. I heard, obviously, they came in that night, took everything, and business as usual.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we use that. But I got plans for trail cameras this year. We want to hang them high. I think their necks are where it gets them. I think they can't look up all the time. I think there's down inset inside their shoulders, So I think if we can hang those up high, like a cross, and like looking over a trail.
Right.
Four ropes, tie them straight, angle it down towards the trail, and leave it up high. We're going to try that this year with the trail cameras, and
that's good. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I appreciate you being on. I know I think Al, I thank you for coming on too.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, talking to you tonight, Chris. It was amazing. I got 1,000,001 questions for you, but I won't bore you with them tonight.
Oh no, we'll get together. We could do this even off the air. This, we got the Skype thing going, so whatever.
I mean, I think it's something we should revisit every once in a while, just to collect notes, because I mean, something that I do and I know Al does because we used to do it together is we're about sharing. I think we learn from other researchers and their information, and we've always shared. We just put raw video up, and you know what? If we say something is something and you can prove it, otherwise we'll look into it, and we're not gonna not do it. We want you people to get involved when they watch these programs. So, but I can't thank you enough. Thank you, Mrs. for enough, and the grandchild, and I thank Al for being on here.
Thank you for inviting me, Brian. It was great. It was my pleasure. I really
awesome.
Enjoyed it.
Great time.
I miss hanging out with my brother. I mean, we haven't seen each other for a while. Either jamming or he doesn't do the investigations anymore, but we still can meet up and maybe we'll shoot some stuff or play guitars, whatever. But again, thank you for being on NoBoBuMe, Nobody But Me, and I wanted to thank everybody for joining us. We're doing this video purposely because we're trying to do a little bit more video. Everybody likes video. Everybody wants to see things. So this is going to be, there are going to be 2 of these videos actually on our YouTube channel, which is Inside the Goblin Universe. There'll be one from direct audio because I'm going to do this as an audio show as well, and then I'm going to throw this up. And if you find any of those photos and you want to send them my way and I can put them into the video, that'd be great. Of the prints or whatever it was that we were talking about previous to this. Otherwise, have a great night. I hope everybody stays safe, be well, and tune in very soon because I know there's going to be a lot more guests coming on, and we're going to be. I have an idea for a show that's non-paranormal based, and it's going to freak people out, but I think it's going to be good. But again, have a good night. Thank you, gentlemen, and be well. Bye now.
Good night.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Bryan Bowden. I want to extend a deep thanks to Purple Planet. You guys rock. You're listening to NoBoBuMe, where we explore deep inside the Goblin Universe. The opinions expressed on NoBoBuMe are of that of the host and his guests.
Hey everyone, I'm Kat Ward, host of Paranormal Heart. Join me on the second and last Sunday of each month as I speak to people who share their paranormal experiences. We talk about ghosts, cryptids, aliens and UFOs, and so much more. You can follow me on Podbean, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and any place you find fine podcasts.
There are spirits everywhere, watching, waiting, seeking that opportune time to reveal themselves like no other. They fill our worlds with so much.
Seriously? You didn't just do that. You farted on the promo? What's wrong with you? I thought you were a professional. Go away. Go. I got it. I got it. Hey everybody, it's Bryan Bowden, host of NoBoBuMe, where we explore deep inside the Goblin Universe. We have an amazing show that covers the paranormal, conspiracies, music, art, entertainment, trending topics, and so much more. Please join us by subscribing to the show on Podbean at InsideTheGoblinUniverse.podbean.com, on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and everywhere you find podcasts. It's an informative, fun, and overall entertaining good time, and we'll keep the gas to ourselves. Why don't you burp next time? Somebody get me Brian Anderson.